Today I'm going to talk about the awareness of your fingers when you're moving the keys. There are 3 specific points that you can feel in your finger. One is when your finger is resting on the key. The other is when you begin to press the finger until the key begins to move, that point. Then the third point is when the pad touches the tone hole. So we're going to construct this exercise or this lesson based on those 3 ideas. The hands should be soft, like you were hanging them by your side. Shake them out and just notice how your hand looks. It'll look, with a straight wrist, your fingers are slightly curved. We don't want curved fingers, tight fingers, or straight fingers. The other part that's important is that you don't really pay much attention to what's going on in the side keys for this lesson. We're only focusing on the pearls. The side keys can be too closed and your hands are in a weird position to move them. We'll deal with that in another lesson. So let's break this down and do this lesson. Begin to press your first finger on your left hand until you feel your finger going from resting and brushing the key until it begins to just about move the key. And then let it go. Then you press the finger again until you feel the finger compress, but the key isn't quite moving. And then you let it go. Now notice your breath and notice your jaw or your focus or your shoulders to see if you're holding anything, if you're having any tension. This is totally relaxed. So then you take that after several times, then you go to that threshold of when that key begins to move. And then you move the key until it touches. Then you let the key up until it stops moving, no further. Then you close the key down until it touches, and then open until it goes to that threshold. That slowly. Notice your breath if you're restricting your breath. Notice your jaw or your shoulders. So you want to keep everything relaxed while you're doing this. And those are the important things to notice in this lesson. Now, begin to take, after several times, take the finger, brushing the key, begin to compress the finger to the threshold, notice it, and then continue to touch the pad to the tone hole. Then let it up until you find the threshold of that key movement, and then decompress the finger. And then you go back and forth, closing and opening, noticing when you compress, noticing when you touch the pad. Again, continue to notice if you're holding your breath or you become very focused, because if you get really focused, your breath will start being restricted. Also be aware if you're holding in your shoulders. So in other words, you're letting everything go. Once you finish that finger, then do all the other fingers in the left hand. After you do that, then do all the fingers together. You press the fingers until the keys just begin to move, and then touch the pad to the tone hole. Then let the keys rise all together, and notice if they reach that threshold where they stop moving together, then let the fingers go. Now you might notice that some of the key action is harder on under one finger. And if that's the case, go to your repairman, ask her or ask him to adjust your springs so that all the keys have the same tension on them. Then your key movement will be very even from finger to finger. Once you finish the left hand, then do the same on the right hand. And then when you finish the right hand, do all the fingers of both hands together. You might even want to move your fingers or play a little bit after you finish one hand, just so you can feel the difference in the ease of movement in your hands, left and right. So this is the finger awareness lesson. I'm Steve Duke, and this is saxcoach.org.